Namaste, welcome, and aloha. Welcome to verse 1.1.2 Unmotivated Inquiry, the Purity of Spiritual Pursuit of the Srimad Bhagavatam. If the first verse established what we should meditate upon, the absolute truth, the second verse reveals how we should approach that meditation, titled Unmotivated Inquiry. This verse presents a revolutionary concept. The highest spiritual pursuit is undertaken without ulterior motives. Let us explore this liberating truth. First, let me recite the verse in its original Sanskrit form. Dharmaha projitakayatavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastamantra vastu shivatam tapatrayon mulanam. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrite Kingva Parerishvara. Sadhyo Hrityavarudhyate Trakritibiha Shushrushubistatakshnath. These words describe something extraordinary about the Bhagavatam itself. Let us understand. Now let us go through the raw form of English translation of the verse. The translation. This glorious Srimad Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage, sets forth the highest truth, a pure, non deceptive religion meant for the saintly and non envious. It reveals the ultimate reality, which is auspicious and completely uproots the threefold miseries of life. What need is there for other scriptures when the Supreme Lord is instantly captured in the hearts of pious, eager listeners simply by hearing this text? Let us unpack the profound meaning contained in these words. Now, let us look at some core teaching of this verse. The core teaching of this verse is both simple and revolutionary. The highest knowledge is pursued without ulterior motives, not for material gain, not for prestige, not for power, not even for heavenly rewards. The verse uses a powerful term, prajahita kaitava, completely rejecting all cheating or deception. What is this cheating? It is the subtle deception of pursuing spiritual life for material benefits. Many people approach religion with hidden agendas. If I perform this ritual, I'll get wealth. If I worship this deity, I'll get success. If I follow these rules, I'll go to heaven. The Bhagavatam rejects this entirely. True spiritual inquiry is nirmatsarana satam for those who are non envious and saintly, those who seek truth for its own sake, not for personal advantage. And the result? The verse promises that the Supreme Lord is instantly captured in the heart sadhyo hriddi avarudyat of those who hear with genuine eagerness. This is the secret. Purity of motive unlocks the highest realization. Now let us look at some modern scientific parallels. This ancient wisdom has been validated by modern psychology. First, consider the research on intrinsic motivation by psychologists Edward Deci and Richard Ryan. They discovered that intrinsic motivation, doing something for its own sake, produces deeper learning, greater creativity, and more lasting satisfaction than extrinsic motivation, doing something for external rewards. When students study because they're genuinely curious, they learn more deeply than when they study just for grades. When artists create for the love of creation, they produce more innovative work than when they create for money or fame. Second, consider the concept of flow state described by psychologists Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Flow, that state of complete absorption and optimal experience, occurs when we engage in an activity for its own sake, not for external rewards. Research shows that external motivators can actually impair complex learning and creative problem solving. The Bhagavatam understood this thousands of years ago. The highest pursuit requires the purest motives. Let us now move on to some practical application as it relates to this verse. How do we apply this teaching in our daily lives? First, approach learning and work with curiosity rather than anxiety about outcomes. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to understand, or am I just trying to get a result? Second, Reduce your attachment to grades, recognition, and external validation. These things may come, and that's fine, but they shouldn't be your primary motivation. Third, focus on understanding rather than performance. When you read the Bhagavatam, don't read to finish a certain number of verses or to feel accomplished. Read to understand, read to realize, read to transform. Fourth, examine your spiritual practice honestly. Are you chanting to get something? Are you praying for material benefits? Are you serving to be recognized? There's no judgment here. We all start with mixed motives. But the verse invites us to gradually purify our intentions. The promise is clear. When we approach spiritual life with pure, unmotivated inquiry, the Supreme Lord reveals Himself in our hearts. Now, let us look at how this verse can help our young people. For young people, here's a powerful analogy. Think about the best gamers you know, the ones who are truly skilled. They don't play for achievements or trophies, they don't play to show off, they play because they love the game. The achievements come naturally as a result, but they're not the point. Similarly, the best learners don't study for grades. They study because they're genuinely curious. They want to understand how things work. The grades come, but they're a byproduct, not the goal. This verse teaches you to approach life this way: pursue knowledge for its own sake, pursue truth because you genuinely want to know, not because of what you'll get from it. This is the path to both excellence and fulfillment. When you do something for the love of it, you naturally become good at it and you enjoy the journey, not just the destination. Now, let us look at how this verse can help our older generation folks. For those with more life experience, this verse offers a beautiful analogy. Think of a gardener who tends plants. Yes, there will be a harvest. Yes, there will be flowers and fruits, but that's not why the true gardener gardens. The true gardener tends the garden for the joy of gardening, the feel of the soil, the miracle of growth, the beauty of the process itself. The harvest is a bonus, not the purpose. You have spent decades pursuing various goals: career goals, family goals, material goals, and perhaps you achieved many of them, or perhaps you haven't. Either way, you learned something crucial. External achievements don't bring lasting fulfillment. This verse invites you to a different kind of pursuit. Pursue knowledge for the enrichment it brings to your consciousness. Pursue truth for its own beauty. At this stage of life, you have the wisdom to appreciate knowledge for its own sake without needing it to lead somewhere. This is true freedom. In conclusion, we can say verse 1.1.2 of the Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us about projihita kaitava, completely rejecting all cheating and ulterior motives. The highest spiritual pursuit is undertaken not for what we can get, but for what we can become. When we approach the Bhagavatam with this purity of intention, eager to hear, free from envy, seeking truth for its own sake, something miraculous happens. The Supreme Lord is captured in our hearts instantly. Tat Kanat. This is the promise, this is the path: pure inquiry, unmotivated seeking, truth for its own sake. Thank you for exploring verse 1.1.2 with me. Thank you, Namaste, and Mahalo for joining me in this exploration of Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 2. Unmotivated inquiry. Next, we will move on third verse of chapter 1 of Canto 1.